What's up, boys and girls? The Gypsy back at it again. Um, it's a video about what I think of AJ's performance with Franklin and his career going forward, and what I think if he's got better or not, especially with Derek James and his past few fights. Um, Looking at the fight with Franklin, when I was watching this, I couldn't get to watch the whole fight. Um, while I was working, I was doing my job, and I had like maybe watched four the last rounds, and all from watching it live and watching a replay, two different things, bro. I can always say that that's 100%. Watching it live, I thought AJ could have knocked him out in the later rounds, but he just didn't have that oomph. He didn't have that, especially when Franklin was clinching every time he either threw one shot or he threw a combination, or even he just went for the clinch automatically. There's cases where he did that as well, but that AJ didn't have the ability to like what he used to have. Apparently, that's what I was thinking, to just to rough it up, just get out of the clinch, and then just fucking throw hooks followed with an uppercut. Just similar to Tank Davis is his bread and butter. Tank Davis' favorite shot is the uppercut. So is AJ's. Oh, and so is the Eubanks, the guy that got knocked out by Liam Smith. I didn't expect that coming, but yeah, it's boxing, and it's probably because Eubanks drained himself too much for the Conor Benn fight and pretty much fucked his whole body up. Um, but everybody's different. Some people can do that, and they can still never get knocked out, never get nothing happened with Eubank. Obviously, that his body said no, no, no. But that's a different story. We're talking about AJ and what happened with Franklin. And I just gave, honestly, I watched the whole fight from round 1 to 12. Um, and I gave Franklin one round. AJ won every single round. And surprisingly, uh, comfortably. He won it comfortably. He beat him comfortably. And to say that, there's a lot of people saying that, AJ's on the downhill and all that kind of stuff. Uh, how can you say that if you don't even know who Franklin is? Like, I don't even know who Franklin is. I thought based on his last fight with Dylan White, I was like, okay, maybe his chin is not that great, but his chin held up, bro. Like, some of these clinches that he did, I thought he was holding on for dear life, but not really. He wasn't. His chin is solid. The dude has a solid chin, better than Dylan White's. I could tell you, if that was Dylan White instead of Franklin there, he would have got KO'd, because there was so many uppercuts landed by AJ, especially near not especially, nearly all in the last few rounds, the championship rounds, and maybe 9 and 10, possibly 8 as well. I mean, he didn't bring the uppercut into the latter part of the fight, AJ. The one thing, though, in this fight with Derek James being his coach, that I noticed that made a huge difference in this fight, is that his defense. His guard was always high up, protecting his fucking chin. Most of the time, at least. Like, you can't always be 100%, nobody really is. But it was better than what I saw in the Usyk fights, better than what I saw in his Andy Ruiz, especially both Andy Ruiz fights, for the first and the second, even though he won the second, and the Pula fights and the Klitschko fights. I see this kid is improving. I won't call him a kid because he's close to my age. I wouldn't be saying that. Or is he 30 something? I'm 35. He's younger than me, but it doesn't matter. He's improving. He's improving. And He couldn't knock out Franklin because Franklin's got a solid chin, man. I mean, the dude. I looked at him as Bermain Stavern 2.0, and he is Bermain Stavern 2.0. That's who Franklin is. He really is. He's just a better. He's better at the jabbing, and his foot movement is better than Bermain Stavern. At when Bermain Stavern was, you know, at his best to say. You know what I mean? When he fought Wilder, I guess the first fight. And AJ, what a, I don't know about the chin. Everyone had a better chin, I guess. I don't know, but that's kind of hard to say. But obviously, AJ hits like honestly, in my opinion, I think he hits the second hardest in the heavyweight division. First being Wilder, and then third being Tyson Fury. For all his weight and size that he has, Tyson Fury hits like a truck. He's third weight of this moment in time. And this kid, Franklin, this dude, his chin held up. He got hit with a lot of good shots. He got hit with uppercuts. He got hit with hooks. He got hit with right hands. And he just couldn't fight off. He just couldn't get past the jab of Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua always had a good jab. He had a above average, B plus. I would say probably close to A jab is what Anthony Joshua has. And he's got a good right hand that he sets up pretty good when he steps back. He pull counters pretty much. Whenever they come in with the jab, he just goes back, and then he's got the reach advantage as well, so he just boom. He couldn't do that much with Klitschko because Klitschko, I think, overall the better boxer. I know in my past video I said Franklin is the better boxer. He definitely was not the better boxer. He's definitely not, just because even though he didn't get the nod for winning the Dillian Whyte fight, and he lost that, they gave it to Dillian Whyte. I think it was a robbery. It was clear cut, and I think Dillian Whyte's way past his prime. I would say at this point, he is definitely way past his prime. But he definitely beat Dillian Whyte, but in no chance in hell did he even get close to beating AJ. He definitely beat him, but they didn't give it to him. Should have been saying that in my last video, but in my head, when I see a guy definitely who won the fight and they got robbed, I automatically say he won. I don't really say that shit in my. I don't really go, oh, unofficially, officially. Yeah, officially he lost, but unofficially he did win in most people's eyes. Franklin over Dillian Whyte, if you know what I mean. So yeah, AJ has improved, bro. AJ has improved. Even with Robert Garcia, he showed signs of improvement. His first fight with Usyk was just I felt like Usyk could have knocked him out if he really pushed the pace, because his defensive was lacking big time, just like he was in the Andy Ruiz fights and the Pulev, and he was lacking defensively. But in the second fight, you notice that he did when it came down to round 12, he was still stable, right? Because he was defensively sound, because he didn't get touched up as much. You know what I mean? In the second fight with Usyk. And in this fight, he was even more defensively sound. Granted that his opponent is not Usyk, it's not that caliber, but he was, in the sense of whenever he threw shots, whether if it was a jab, whether it was a right hand, whether it was a 1-2 straight up down, or a hook backing up, or a hook, or check hook, or whatever he was throwing, you know what I mean? He always had his arms, at least one of his arms, protecting his face. I mean, with Andy Ruiz, the second fight, he was fighting off with distance. He was giving a lot of distance and fighting off the jab primarily and trying to set him up while stepping back. But he was still lacking defensively, And even with the Usyk second fight, yes, he was defensively sound. He showed more body work than this fight with Franklin. But there was moments in time where he would just, throw caution to the wind with his defense, and he would get clipped, and that's the reason why I think it was the 11th or the 10th round, where I think the ninth round he won, and the 10th round Usyk came back. It's because he threw caution to the wind with his defense, and he got clipped. And AJ has a problem with his left upper, his left temple. Whenever he gets touched up over, that's how Ruiz dropped him in that first fight when he beat him, right? That's where that first initial drop came after AJ dropped him with an uppercut, right uppercut, left hook. Perfect shot, honestly, and perfect two piece. I would say that much. And then he gets back up. He's still in control of the fight. And then he gets clipped. That's why he said it was That's why AJ said it was like a touch from the gods. Yeah, that's your weak spot, bro. Like you have, even in this fight, Franklin ended up touching him up in the fifth round, and he kind of got wobbled. He kind of like he kept his composure. It was like a split second. He got back to normality, but that's his weak spot. You know what I mean? And sorry for revealing it, and the fighters will know about it. But that I'm pretty sure they did. They've seen Andy Ruiz fight, and it's not gonna be me just saying this shit. But that's where if like someone like Joy Joyce will take advantage. She's like, he's thinking about fighting Joy Joyce. Man, that's a bad idea because yes, he's defensively good right now. He's better than he was his last fights. His last, the second, and the first, or Usyk and Andy Ruiz fights and all that stuff. I mean, he's gotten better as he went. Even though he changed coaches, he went to Derek James now, switching it from Robert Garcia to Derek James. But one thing I noticed from the Derek James to the from Robert Garcia to Derek James is his stamina, his conditioning is better. From Robert, yeah, I noticed that there's better conditioning from Robert Garcia to Derek James. Yeah, and a better composure throughout the whole fight as well. But then again, yes, that was Usyk and this is Franklin. But defensively, 100%. There's a notable difference defensively. Notable difference. You know, I mean, you can look at the fights of his past with Dillian Whyte, and when he first fought with Dillian. Yeah, the only time he ever fought. Well, actually, they fought in amateurs too, but the only professional fight he had with Dillian Whyte, he was defensively lacking as well. He was trying to bulldoze through him. So, step back every time he threw something, since he's the taller man with the longer reach, and then he fucking bulldoze through him by touching him up with the jab and following up with hooks and shit, all kinds of stuff that, depending on the positioning of their feet and where Dillian Whyte is and where he's at, he's gonna throw something, pretty much. That's worth throwing, I guess. But without defensively, that's why he got hurt. Somewhere in that fight, he got hurt. He got touched up by Dillian Whyte, a guy that is considerably less offensively skilled than him. Even though I keep giving him shits because Dillian Whyte had a shoulder injury. Shoulder injury or not, Dillian Whyte is not. He's not in the caliber of AJ. It does not change anything. He is not. So, yeah, with Derek James, two things I noticed: better more defensively sound AJ, less on the body shots with AJ. With Unlike with Robert Garcia, there was more body shots. But then again, they were fighting Usyk. They were heading, they know that was his weakness, the body shots, and they were trying to exploit it. But then he got too excited, and that's turned the tables for him, and Usyk started to take those rounds, the championship rounds. But yeah, Robert Garcia, was more, yeah, different, obviously, different opponents. But Derek James, no, not much in the body. There was body work in this fight, but not as much as it was obviously in the Usyk fight. I'm not saying that you will not see more, but I mean, opposition matters. It matters who he's going to fight against. So if they fought, let's say Usyk again, hypothetically speaking, which probably won't happen, most likely, obviously. Um, Usyk has other things to do. Then you'll probably see more body shots and better defensively sound AJ compared to what it was in the second fight with Usyk. Whether he'll stop him or not, that's a different story. I always thought that he should be in the second fight. Not always thought. Sorry, I thought that Usyk was gonna win, anyways. But the thing is, but he had a shot after seeing the second fight. I said that he has a shot that he can stop Usyk, and it's very possible, extremely possible. But his conditioning was an issue as well, and not just the fact that he was defensively lacking. His conditioning was the primary thing. I mean, Tyson Fury got clipped with fucking Wilder, massive, heavy fucking blows, and his conditioning is what fucking pushed him with the accumulation of punches that he did on a close range uh, to nullify and destroy Wilder's any chance of landing his right hand. You know what I mean? It's with Fury's case with Wilder, he knew from all the way from the what was that coach, the first coach, the dumbass that everybody thinks he's not a coach. What's his name? With the blonde hair, looks like an actor. Whatever the first. I keep forgetting this fucking guy's name. He also coached Josh Taylor in a Ramirez fight, or was it? Yeah, I forgot this guy's name. But anyways, he learned off of that dude that every time fucking Wilder's about to throw his right hand, he drops it low. He drops it low to his chest when he fires his right hand. And for him, that became pretty evident. And that's why he was very comfortable, even though in to moving in on Wilder whenever he, saw that arm in his positioning. You know what I mean? So that was one of the biggest reasons why he won. So, but the other thing is because of his stamina. If his stamina wasn't there, yeah, his chin is okay. It's great. It's a good chin. Tyson Fury's chin. It's an okay chin, but it's not the great chin. You know what I mean? Joyce is a great chin. Joyce's chin is great. But that's what ultimately his stamina. On top of that, his IQ in the game is what brought Fury that victory over Wilder. Two by KO and one by draw, but one that draw, we all know what happened. He shouldn't have gotten draw for that fight. But with AJ stamina, hopefully by with Derek James, he could improve it. He can get better with it and throw a little bit more volume. He claims he's a bigger man. He gets tired and all this kind of stuff. No, you got to throw a little more volume. You know, But when you step forward, don't just step forward. Don't reach in. Sometimes he does this. He doesn't do it often, but he does this, and that's what was another issue when he was fighting Usyk. He stepped in areas where he shouldn't have stepped in. He tried to reach when he should have. Uh, when he should have stepped in to Usyk when Usyk is making a mistake with his footsteps. When he's about to either reset or he's about to step back, he can't be moving at that time when he's taking that one step back. That's when he has to react, and he has to be in a position where he can reach him, not just reach for the sake of reaching. You know what I mean? No. He had those issues. In this fight, he kind of showed those same signs, but it wasn't that bad because the opposition is not great, bro. Like it's not a great opposition. This is, and he's asking for Fury. Fury would still beat him pretty comfortably just off the fact that he could just fight off the back foot and make him reach in, just like how he was making Franklin reach in and counter the crap out of him. But it'll be more of an interesting. He will probably be able to last because he's more now defensively sound, unlike last time, unlike his last fights. He's more, not even more now than he was with the Usyk fight. He's a little more, much more defensively. So you notice that he didn't even break a sweat in this fight. Man, back then he fought Takam and he was breaking a sweat. Looked like he was out of it. Like this one, I would say he broke a sweat. I mean, you can't say he didn't break a sweat, but it looked pretty comfortable. It was a pretty comfortable win. You know what I mean? For going 12 rounds and throwing the shots that he threw and all that kind of. He barely got hit. He didn't get hit much in this fight. So he's a student of the game, and I think hopefully I see an even better version of him with the tutelage of Derrick James. And that's all I gotta say. Yeah, that covers it. It's the Gypsy. I'm out. Oh yeah, one more thing. If I can add this shit too. I don't know what you guys looking at. You guys have to rewatch this fight because AJ did perform pretty well. Okay, he did perform pretty well. And I was one of those guys who did because I saw like only the last 4 rounds, and man, when you're fucking working at the same time, your eyes are this way, that way, and you see certain things, you start saying, "Oh man, AJ's not, he's even worse. He's, on a slide, like that." No, he's not on a slide. This guy ain't on a slide. And the same thing I had with the perception with Canelo versus Caleb Plant. Hell no, that Canelo was not on the slide. Canelo was actually he was even better when he fought Caleb Plant, and even better after he lost to Bivol too. Sometimes, man, your eyes deceive you. This dude is better now than he ever has been before. That's why he's so confident he's asking for the Fury fight. But I'm saying you're still not ready, bro. I think you should fight like a couple more fights before you can fight Fury. Not because I don't want him to fight Fury. Of course I want him to fight Fury. If he wants to fight him next, fuck yeah, get it on. But the thing is, I don't think he's ready. I think he's gonna get KO'd if he does. Or I won't say KO this time. He gets boxed up in 12 rounds. Maybe barely makes it. Hopefully he makes it. I'm wishing the best for this dude, honestly. But I think he needs like one more fight. Just one or two more fights to be ready for someone like that with the tutelage of Derrick James. Derrick James did a good job on him, I think. And so did Robert Garcia, but not so much with Robert Garcia. I think this is the perfect guy. I mean, they mesh pretty good together. They mesh very, very good together. You know what I mean? With Robert Garcia, I think there was, cultural differences, if you know what I'm saying. But anyways, it's the Gypsy. I'm out now. All right. This will be the last one. I'm seriously out right now. I'm closing the door. Good night.